Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the live show. It's Sunday night. I'm telling you, the weekends just fly by. Does anyone else think that you just don't get enough done? And then here we are, Sunday night. But guess what? That's life, and we got to keep cruising because this week's going to be crazy in the market. I have a feeling things are going to get wild. Crypto's going insane. So let's jump into this and see what's happening. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. I hope everybody had a great weekend. And here we go. Remember, Friday, everything kind of, the Mag 7 kind of ended a little red. Tesla was green, but everything else was kind of down there. So let's go ahead and go through our list, see what we're looking at, and see how things are looking. And we think that SMCI is going to be moving, and apparently they are in the Web Bull, and a couple other trading platforms seem to say it's up right now. So we'll find out. And we'll go through that as well. So here we go at ELAB, ELAB. It ran up the other morning, and I'm telling you what, it ran up, what, Thursday, it popped up. And then Friday, it kind of opened and closed right around the same price. It had over 370 million. The day before, it had what, 1.8 billion in volume. It was insane. It kind of pulled back into that basement just a hair on Friday, but nothing too crazy. And honestly, it looks like it could get moving tomorrow morning. So keep your eye on this ELAB, ELAB. We'll look at it in the morning, but it's set up pretty good to get moving again. And it just kind of ran up the other day. We'll have to see again. Ended on a Friday where it opened and closed. So it can move either which way, but it appears it wants to bounce up there is what it looks like. So we'll take a look at it and see what the market conditions are. XTIA, another one, just pulled back on Friday. It stayed in the basement. It was trying to stair step its way up. It jumped up there Thursday morning, and another one looks like it could easily go cruising tomorrow morning. So XTIA, a little healthy pullback after it ran up and still doesn't look terrible. So keep your eye on that as well. Two of them that we've been looking at, they did run the other day, and I think they still have some potential. Another one we mentioned the other day was TANH, and it's sitting in the right spot, guys. It just crossed through. It's looking really good right now. So keep your eyes on that TANH because that looks like it's definitely going to get cruising there. So I would keep an eye on that for sure. And that's TANH. And again, that ELAB and XTAI, they got to be looked at in the morning, but they are not looking bad. They are set up still. And TANH looks like it wants to run in the morning. TRNR, we looked at it the other day. I didn't realize that they had earnings. It didn't even say it on here. It just said the split, and that's what I had noticed. And then the Finvit or the StockTwits said that they did have their earnings. It still doesn't say it on here. Maybe that's what that gray look is because they were supposed to have earnings on the 20th. Maybe they didn't. I have no idea. I'll have to look. But anyway, doesn't say it here. But let's just see what it did on Friday. TRNR. Let's see. It just kind of pulled back. It's right on that line, 309, got up to 350. It's low as 264. It's at 280. And another one. It looks like it could be pulling back, but again, at the same time, it could pop right up there. So we'll see if Friday was its low at 264. We'll have a pretty good idea tomorrow morning. So keep an eye on this one just to see if it's moving. If it does, it's going to get flying. It has some room. The 20's all the way up here at like $9. So it's got plenty of room to move. And it's got plenty. So TRNR interactive strength, we had looked at it before it ran up, then it came down, it split, and we're looking for that split bounce right there. So keep your eye on that. SVMH, that one is setting up too. It's looking really good right there. It just pulled back again on Friday, ran up Thursday. I mean, we looked at all these. They popped up Thursday, and then Friday wasn't the best market conditions, but they pulled back to good spots. This one, another one, just looks really good. We'll have to see what the market conditions are, but again, it could easily pop up there. It could dip that back a little bit more, but it could easily get moving. So we'll be looking at SVMH as well in the morning to see what it wants to do. And NMHI, that Nature's Miracle. Just another one we were looking at. Flew up on the 7th, and then it ran up on Wednesday, the 13th, I believe that was. And it's just kind of pulling back, but hitting that line. And here's another one that could easily pop off that line tomorrow morning and get cruising. Let me type it in right. NMHI. Here we are. And yeah, it just kind of pulled itself down a hair. And you hear me say it often. It could easily pull itself back up and go flying. So all of them are looking great. And TANH looks great to run tomorrow. But all them other ones are pretty set up. TRNR, we have to keep an eye on. It's that split bounce. So we'll have to look at that. Um, but other than that, the other ones are still set up right there. And let's go cruising through our list right here. PEGY, Peggy. It was down 21 cents. It ran up another one, ran up on Thursday and Friday, 352. It came back down to 323, but it looks like it wants to bounce off that bottom. It looks like things kind of want to bounce up tomorrow morning. So we have to see how things open. Nvidia has their earnings this week. I believe they're Wednesday, if I remember correctly. The 20th is Wednesday, yeah. So Nvidia has their earnings and they were pulling back, and we'll go through that obviously, but they are setting up. I don't like to play the earnings, but it is setting up to blast off. So we will look at that Nvidia. And so yeah, PEGY, a little bit of pullback right there. And let me just take a look on mine. Doesn't look too bad. Healthy pullback Friday, along with everything else. And that 20's coming down. It's at like 390s, it looked like. Let me see. Yeah, 393-ish. And this one's at 324, but it was down 21 cents. And another one could just get moving with no problem. SYTA, this one was setting up the other day, and it ran on Friday. It ran from what? It gapped up or something. Let me look at it. SYTA, I forget exactly. It ran Thursday, 125 to 180, and then on Friday, 175, it moved up to 176 and then came down to 115, and that's where it's at. So SYTA, we were looking at it, was on Laptop Travels list, and it bounced up, and now it's pulling back. And they had their earnings on the 14th, which were Thursday, and it ran up there. It was set up, and again, I'm not a big earnings person, but that one did run up and come back down. But that's SYTA, and tomorrow it might be just pulling back there because it did have that nice run up. So we'll just take a look at that later. BTCT, this thing's been an animal, and we looked at it way early. I put it up on that list like in the dollars, and it's the dollar area, and it's at 19.50, and it ran all the way up to like 26, $27. And again, 25 or 19.50 right now has that weird look, and it is way at the top. So you have to be careful with these bad boys because you can see how they can come down real fast. And this one's going to have to pull back. And it was a beautiful pop for us. And it ran up a couple more days more than I thought it would, to be honest. But hey, it gave you some good action right there. So just keep an eye on BTCT. Obviously, it could bounce around, but it's going to be coming down relatively soon. VCIG, what did I just typed in? VCI, holy cow, VCIG, there we go. VCIG down 4 cents, and that one recently split. When was that? On the 5th. So that was like last week or a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and just in that basement trying to curl up and looking really good. I remember we were looking at it last week, and yeah, this thing's going to be set up to get moving this week. So keep your eye on VCIG tomorrow because that is set up to get moving. And that GDHG was looking good as well. Let's take a look. It was up 13 cents. We looked at it the other day, and I mean, this was the example of the China stocks that go crazy that I would tell you about. And watch, it's about to go crazy. So keep your eye on it because GDHG is running tomorrow. And there you go with that one. So you should have a popper there. And that TANH. So I think that's a Chinese company as well, that TANH. Let me just check. TANH. Yeah, it is. So maybe the China small caps are starting to pop up. OCGN, we'll look at the yin and the yang next, but OCGN was dipping down. It had run up real nice, and now it's pulling back to that line. And let's just see, because it had some good movement and room in front of it. I think it's going to have to cross or roll off and just crawl right off of that MACD right there. It's trading in between that channel, the 50 and the 20 right there. And I think you're just gonna have a roll off. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow, OCGN, but it is relatively bullish, and I think it's gonna just kind of bounce around, set up, and then pop off, and then obviously it'll come back down. But should get a pretty good pop right there relatively soon for OCGN. And it did run already, and we just recently started looking at it. So there you go with that one. And the yin and the yang. The yin was up 40 cents. And again, I don't know. I don't really think it's trying to curl up that much. It maybe it was at bottom on Thursday, but I'm not so sure on the yin. And let me see. It does look like it's trying to. Let me look at the yang and see what that looks like. I mean, last time we thought that the yin was trying. We kind of knew the yang does kind of look like it's pulling back a hair there. And they both have that weird look like they could do anything. So, but again, this thing still looks like it's pretty bullish. The yang and the yin still looks pretty bearish overall. So I think it could be just making a base right there. And I still think it's going to get into the 90s and it's in the 80s. So that's the yang, and maybe it pulls back a little bit, but I think it's setting up to get moving some more. So we obviously been keeping our eye on the yin and the yang, and then let's look at that TWG. That's a Hong Kong company, and this thing's setting up to get moving, guys. And the bottom was the other day. It dipped down on the 13th to 17 cents. It's back up to 28.30 cents. It ran up to like 41 the other day. TWG. So watch for them dips, but this thing's getting cruising. So keep your eye on that because that one's going to be a mover for sure. So you want to look at that in the morning. That one's, like I said, it's curling up right there. It's going to run this week. So you're going to find that bottom. It's going to run around a little bit, but it is going to pop up there. So that's TWG and Buru. BURU, that's up 2 cents. That's curling up right there, crossing through, looking good. So again, these things are doing things that they couldn't do before. So Buru looks like it's going to be running tomorrow. Look at Nubaru because that looks like it's going to be a runner right there. NU, or yeah, BURU, Nubaru. I was looking at the paper and trying to remember what it was, but it's Buru, BURU, Nubaru, and that's looking really good. It was up 2 cents on Friday, and it's still curling up and looking really nice right there. And Holo, here we go, HOLO. It was down 19 cents. It ran up the other day, and it's just pulling back to that line. And again, I think it could be making a base down here, and then it's going to pop up, and then, we're going to probably leave it alone. So our 20's up here at like 318. We're at 342, 347, and these things are seeming to make a base. I think that bottom is right where it was at like that 240 area. It came down there to 240. That pretty much seems the low. So keep an eye on this. It wants to roll off and get moving. It looks like it does, and it looks like it wants to bounce off that bottom. So that is Holo, and it was down the other day, but a bunch of them were pulled back on Friday. So I have a feeling we'll open up pretty decent tomorrow. We should. TNXP, this one was down 6%. They recently had their earnings on the 12th last week, and it's just pulling back. Another one pulling back to that bottom. Had some nice pullback on Friday. Came down to like over a little over 12 and a half on TNXP. Oh, TNXP. And yeah, I think you're going to get it rolling off that MACD. That was just some pullback and a dip and rip situation. So watch for that thing to get moving. I think you might have a dip and rip right there with TNXP. I know STX Confidential was looking at that one the other day, and it does look pretty decent off of that dip on Friday. QLGN, another one that was setting up great. Recently split and hasn't really popped. It split on the 5th and setting up really good. And let's just see what it looks like on mine in the after hours. And yeah, it doesn't look like it's ready to pop yet tomorrow, but it's getting close. So keep your eye on that. Watch for any pullback and any low prices. The low was 355 on Friday. That could be its low, and it could be working its way back up tomorrow. So Look for that. It's at 360, 356 in the after hours. And it's probably going to be setting up this week, I could imagine. So keep an eye on QLNG or QLGN. I'm sorry, QLGN and JAGX, JAGX. This one was looking good the other day. Another one that pulled back. It was just trying to cross through there, and that 20 is right there for it. And let's see what it's doing here. And it did it. It tried to pop up and then it just pulled back on Friday, as many of them did. And you could have another bounce situation. So keep your eye on JAGX tomorrow to see if it wants to bounce off of there. They recently had their earnings last week. So it did look like it was trying to get cruising. And the bottom was around 90 cents. Where was that? On November 11th. So that was last Monday. So it should get set up and get moving there. JAGX and VERU. This one was looking good last week. I remember it, and it was just pulling back there. It's in the basement. And I'm telling you, this thing, let's just find that bottom because it's going to get set up probably in the next week or two. And VERU is going to be a beauty. So we have to just find exactly where that bottom is. And it could be that 58 cents right around where it's at right now. So we'll look at this tomorrow for sure. I'll be looking at that one and just take a look and see where that bottom is because if that's right there, I'm telling you, this thing is going to be set up. It's probably got like a week or two out, but it'll be really good to go. And it'll go from the basement and just start cruising. That's a biotech company. I'm not sure what they have going on, but it might have something good happening in the works right there because the chart's getting set up. I can see that. NDRA. Let's look at that bad boy. It was down 75 cents. They just had their earnings on the 15th, which was Friday, and we weren't messing with that. So it wasn't looking bad, but it just pulled back, and that's probably its bottom right there, NDRA. I'll keep an eye on that tomorrow and just see if it wants to go into the basement or if it wants to start bouncing. And if it wants to start bouncing right there, that'll be a good play because that ran up on the 22nd of October to like $22. But that's post split or after the split price because it recently split, but it also didn't really pop off of that split. It popped that day on the 8th and it split on the 7th. So it did pop up and then pull back. That could be its bottom where it wants to get moving again, and that's NDRA. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. And MLGO. That is another China company. And let's see what this one's trying to do. I think that bottom is at that 18 cent area. It's at 18 and a half. And it did. It hit it twice. And I think you're going to have another one that's getting ready to get moving here. So these China small caps might be cruising, guys. And you know what they can do. And they can start flying off. And yeah, that one looks pretty healthy to go. It doesn't look too bad on mine, too. I could see it trying to crawl up, so keep your eye on that one. MLGO and KXIN. Let's see. This was also setting up last week, up 10 cents. It had run over on the 13th, which was Wednesday of last week, and it never even got crossed through. It just popped up there and then it just pulled back. And I mean, we're used to this look when they hit that line and come back, but this is still set up before they would just fizzle out. This one looks like it's still trying to get through and get moving this week. So keep your eye on KXIN because that looks like it's trying to set up as well. ALCE, let's look at that. ALCE. Let's see what let's look at ALC because I didn't put an E in. ALC is at 8513. It's called Alkin. It's a medical instruments and supplies from Switzerland. It is not on the list, but I just added it a minute ago, and it's not a bad one to add, honestly. We might have to add this bad boy for real. ALC. Holy cow, I think that's its bottom right there. Friday, it just had an earnings on the 12th. And it looks like it's getting set up to get cruising. ALC, that was an accident. It might have been a really good accident right there. I might have to write that one down and keep an eye on that. ALC, I'll be checking that out in the morning. Alkin, that could be a good option play right there. I could see that getting moving. So I'll look at that one. But let's get back to here. ALCE. I'll type that in Alternus Clean Energy, and this one's in the basement, just running flat right on that line. I remember it ran up the other day, Thursday, and then Friday had that look where it opened and closed on the same price. And actually, Friday, it looks like it ran up and came down. So Friday, it looks like it opened at 211, went up to 214, came back to 161, and it pulled back. And on Thursday, it ran up to 220. I'd have to look at this. It's giving me mix, and it tells me that it opened and closed on the same price, right around 175 here. And this one's telling me two different prices. So I'm not sure what's going on with ALCE. I'll have to look at that one. VCNX, let's see. VCNX. Oh, this one's setting up pretty good too. It's just a little pullback as well, and everything's meeting up right there, looking pretty good. VCNX. And yeah, it just looks like some real good healthy pullback. I'll have to take a look at it because it was down 48 cents, 316 at what? 375 up to 390 and down to 304. Says it's at 328 in the after hours or 305 on mine. That's the thing. I can't get a good idea because it says it closed at 316 and 328, and this says it's at 305. So I'm not sure if it pulled back in the after hours. It's very well, it could have, and then I'll have to really take a look at it. But that's VCNX. And let's look at that RCAT. Our cat was up. We looked at it last week and it was popping up there with a momentum into the top, and boom, there it went. So RCAT, and just it's up at the top now, and it's in between a little channel. So we'll have to keep an eye on this and see, but it could be a really good momentum play in the morning. So keep your eye on our cat to be a little momentum play there. MULN, good old Mullen, down 91 cents. Tried to get moving there, and that was a wrap. Thursday, it ran up, and then it just said boom, and I'm sizzling out. But honestly, it could be some healthy pullback like the rest of them. But you got to be careful with this company because this one just goes up and then pulls right back anyway. So it's normal for this company. So we'll keep an eye on Mullen, MULN, see what it wants to do. ICCT, this was setting up and came down a little bit on Friday. I was looking at it, and it just looks like it's curling through and touching that bottom. Another one. They look like they're just some great dip and rip situations here on Friday. So we'll have to see how the market opens up because another one that just looks like a dip and rip right there. So I'll keep an eye on that and obviously look at it in the morning because if it's moving, you know it's a dip and rip. CERO. This one's running back up into the top. It went up 9 cents again. It was curling back up, and boom, it ran up there. And we'll have to see. It looks like it wants to continue that momentum into the top. So I would look at that in the morning. CERO. I think that's going to be moving in the top first thing in the morning. BNRG. Bren Miller Energy. This was down a penny. We were looking at this before, and it never really got popping there. It's just kind of pulling back down to that bottom, and it's in a good spot though. I'm not even sure why it doesn't get popping, but it could be getting set up right here. I'll have to keep my eye on this BNRG because it doesn't look bad finally, and that 70 cents could be a good low for it. So we'll have to take a look at that one tomorrow. BNRG, Bren Miller Energy, that could get moving. TRUG. This went up 3 cents. I know we looked at it just the other day. And was it what, Thursday or Friday? I don't really remember what day we looked at it, but on Friday it went from 56 to 57, and then it pulled back down to 35, and it closed around 47. And another one looked like a great dip and rip situation and looks like it wants to get cruising. That's that TRUG. It's called True Golf Holdings. And yeah, it does has that look like it's trying to get moving. It's tried to crawl through multiple times. One, two, three, four. This will be the fifth time, and it should get through on this one and get moving. So keep your eyes on TRUG because that one looks really good right there. And that should move. SNSE, Sensei Biotherapeutics. This one's getting set up. They just had their earnings last week on the 14th, which were Thursday, and it's just kind of pulling back there with some healthy pullback. It is setting up, but I think it has a little bit of time. So SNSE, I think you have a little bit of time for it to pull back and then set up. I'll look at that and see where it's at, but I don't think it's popping tomorrow. At least it doesn't tell me it's going to, so maybe it could curl up and bounce, but I would miss that one. BCTX. Bria Cell Therapeutics. That was just kind of flat there. What did it even do? That is the 15, 61 to 62. It's low. Was 58 and it closed around 59. It didn't do a whole lot, but it's down there, making a base and not looking too bad. BCTX. Yeah, I have to look at this. That could be its bottom right there. On the 13th at 56 cents. I could see that being its bottom and it crawling up, and then it's got that good line there. I'll have to take a look at that one too. That could be a good setup. LQR. Let's look at that one. LQR house. That's running up in the top. You'll get a momentum play there unless it did something crazy in the after hours. Nah, I think you'll have a momentum play on LQR because that one is in the top and it looks like it wants to run. It was up 9 cents and then five more in the after hours. So what'd it do? I'll tell you exactly. It went from 91 to 108 and it's at 102. So there you go with LQR, and that one looks like a momentum play. That HAO, that's setting up right there. We were looking at it. It ran up a little bit. It's right there. And this is another China one that's setting up right there. So keep your eye on this bad boy because that's setting up as well. HAO, we were looking at it last week. Just a little. I mean, it even ran up Friday 22, up to almost 24 there and then it just pulled back. It did 22 to 24. Its low is 20, and then it's at 21. So keep an eye on that guy for this week. How about Fufu? Fufu, Bit Fufu. This one's a Singapore company. Everything about it sounds crazy. Bit Fufu, FUFU. And it's curling up and it's about to say FUFU to this chart because it's about to blast off from what it looks like. So take a look at it because it could be one of them FUFU situations. It has some resistance at 602. It's at 540, and it looks like it wants to get moving, guys. So take a look at FUFU, and I know Zone, ZONE, a few people are looking at. Let me get it in there. Clean Core Solutions. It's up 3 cents, up 8 in the after hours, and it's right up there at the top. It would be a momentum play, if anything. Let me see what it did here in the after hours. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a pretty solid momentum play in the morning. So take a look at it. And again, that's more of a momentum play. It already ran up. We probably would have been down here. Let me look in like $1.30 range, $1.40 range. It's at 219. That's generally where we see them. This just happened to hop on our radar from a few people asking about it, and it is running in the top. I think you will have a momentum play up there and get some a little price action, but make sure you play it safely because again, it will come back down as it's in the top. I mean, they all come back down pretty quick, uh, relatively. So you trade them while they're going up and then watch them fall back down. DOT, I believe, is going to be a crypto one. Let me just look. DOT USD. Yeah, it's Polkadot. I thought it was something like that. DOT USD. Let's see. Here we go. I'll look at it real quick. And that actually looks really good. We'll go through some crypto, but it's on the other side, but I just happen to look at it there. So that's DOT and that's a crypto one. We'll come back to crypto, but that's actually looking good as most of them are. Peloton, let's roll through these. Let me know if you guys want to see anything, and I'll just cruise through this list for a Sunday night and everybody can go back to their evening, get some rest. And I'm telling you, this week could be crazy. I was trading some crypto all weekend. It was wild running up, bonks going bonkers, as I was telling you guys, and so many other ones. So we'll get like really cruising with that. Now all the altcoins are starting to fire up and looks like Bitcoin's staying around 90, but we'll go through all that in a few. Let's roll through this list here. Peloton. Let's look at it. We were looking at it last week. It ran up there. It's pulling back now. Just let it pull back and get set back up there. So Peloton's coming down. Its 20 is at 731. It can only hope that it can stick there. So I'll keep an eye on it tomorrow and see if that's what it wants to do. XPON, that came down 85 cents and they had their earnings on the 14th, which were Thursday. And I'm telling you, the earnings are a killer because it looked good and then all of a sudden it came crashing down. So that could be its bottom right there for XPON. And you know, if it says earnings anywhere, I'm not even going anywhere near it. I'll look at it, but they're hard to tell. And it does look like it wants to roll off and get moving. So that could be a little dip and rip situation. It opened at 247, ran up to 295, and came back down to like 242, and it's at 260. So that's what it did on Friday. And that was XPON. And again, each one says something different. I'll just go with that one. And there you go. But it looks like it wants to roll up there and or roll off of there and run up back up. RKLB is at Rocket Lab, and I'm telling you, this thing's just been a rocket. We looked at this way down here because we were, like I said, we went through the aerospace and defense for a little while, and this was setting up, and it just keeps going. It ran up the other day. It got over $22. Right now it's at 19, and it looks like it wants to run in the top some more. So keep an eye on that RKLB because that looks like it could be more of a momentum play and run up in the morning right there. And ALE. Let's look at that. Allet, I guess. I guess that's how you say it. I don't even know, but it looks like it's hitting that line and trying to, it looks like a nice little dip and rip too. So let me look. ALE, Al. And yeah, it looks like it's trying to get bouncing. I'd keep an eye on this in the morning. It looks like it wants to bounce. It's not saying it is, but it looks like it. I would look for that one. Just keep an eye on that. I would look for that. ALE. That it could be a nice little bounce play there. If you'll know in the morning if it's wanting to bounce right there. And then let's look at Alex. As soon as I type it in right, ALEX. Alexander and Baldwin. Let's see what you're up to because that's curling up and looks like it wants to get moving. So Alex looks like he wants to go for a run, guys. I would take a look at Alex and see what he's up to because he looks like he's getting in shape and about to run. It's at 1922, went up to 1936. Low is 1940. It's at 1930. And like I said, he's rolling up there and wants to get moving there, and that is retail Alexander and Baldwin. I have no idea what they do, but Alex looks like he wants to go for a run. HTH, I remember we looked at this recently. Hilltop Holdings. I think it was on a laptop travel list, and it did run up recently, and it's just pulling back there. It's coming down to that line HTH. And yeah, just let it. We'll have to see tomorrow what it's going to do. It could pull back and then reset up there, HTH. So it's not giving you a great look after Friday, but it does look like it wants to pull back a little more. We'll see if it wants to roll off that line and set back up and get moving. AVXL. Another one just pulling back there, AVXL. So have to see when it hits that line right there. Had a nice dip on Friday. $8 ran up to 806, but came down to 742 and it's at 745. So a nice dip, and it could come down to that 20 at like $7. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Looks like it's pulling back right there. And CE, let's look at that. And that one's going to be a good setup right there. CE. So that one's making one of them fish hooks. So that's setting up with a fish hook. What is it? CE right there. So take a look at CE. And again, as it starts to hook up there, it's gonna basically bounce around. It's not exactly the cheapest one. It's at 73 something, what, 73, 78, $74. And that bottom could be that $72 area. So keep an eye on it. But this thing's getting moving, and it was in the $120 range recently, and it just took a nice dip. CE. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that one along with ALC because that one looks good too. And there you go with CE. I'll keep an eye on that. And how about GFAI? That's down 4 cents, but guys, that's setting up in a really good spot right there. So I could see that bouncing off pretty good. Keep an eye on that for a bounce. Oh yeah, that looks like it wants to bounce right there. GFAI. Let me see. Yeah, bounce play right there. I would look it for that bounce play right there. So that's GFAI. And did we not do XPEV? We did not do that. Um, that one's coming down to the line. They have earnings coming up on Tuesday, so definitely a hard look, and I'm not exactly sure what it wants to do. Whatever I say, do the opposite. It looks bullish, and I can look at it right after the earnings if you want, but going into it tomorrow, looks like it wants to roll off and pop off tomorrow is what it looks like, and then what it wants to do after that, who the heck knows? Because they just do whatever they want during the earnings. So I'm not, my philosophy on earnings, we're not messing with it. But it does look like it wants to roll off there tomorrow, and then I can look at it again. So that's XPEV. And I know a lot of people do like to play the earnings. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know why people, it feels like it's a gamble to me. I'd rather be more confident and know that that chart's about to run or do what it's going to do rather than look at it at earnings and go, I don't know, it could go up, it could go down. I have no idea. So I'm not sure what people are looking at or if they're just guessing that the fundamentals are going to be good rather than the technicals because the technicals aren't telling you anything. And I've gone back, they all, I guess, unless it's like perfect, it's all right. But our markets haven't been perfect lately either. So maybe that'll change and the earnings are different and we'll get a different look on them as we continue. So we'll keep an eye on them. But again, my philosophy as of now, I'm not trading the earnings, but we can look at them. They're just a hard look. OCTO, this one was just pulling back, but that could be a little pullback and a nice little rip situation. So watch this because it tried to crawl through right there on November 13th, which was Wednesday, and then had a nice dip on Friday. So OCTO, that 8Co Holdings, we looked at this before. I remember it did run up in like September and then it just kind of ran around. It's setting up, it's bullish. I think you might have a little dip and rip situation right there as well. And that's that OCTO. So watch that to bounce. GFAI. Did we just look at this or no? What am I doing? Yeah, we did just. I was gonna say that looks like it's gonna bounce. I wrote it down like within three of each other. And then I wrote down XPEV again, and that was right there. Wow, that was pretty impressive. So there's two of them. WISA, WISA. I'm telling you, this one we were talking about this last week. We knew this. They did have their earnings Friday, and I said it was looking good. I probably wouldn't play it, but now it's looking really good there. And it was curling up the day. We were looking at it right before the earnings as well, and it was curling up. So this one did run up 192 to 229 back to 201 and it does look pretty decent to run and again it did have its earnings on Friday and I'm not sure if they were good or bad but it seems like it ran up a little bit pulled back in the after hours. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look at it as it opened Monday, tomorrow, and get a better idea. But WISA, it did look good. It ran up, and then they had their earnings probably after the market closed. I'm gathering. That SAIH, we had looked at this, and this one ran up pretty well, and now it's pulled back, crossing down, and it looks like it's going to continue to go down. Let me see if it's going to catch itself. It could catch itself right here at that 87 area. It's at 91. I'll have to look at this tomorrow and get a better idea. If it doesn't catch itself there, it's gonna dip pretty good, and it already has because it ran up to $1.53, and you're back to 90 cents. So we'll keep an eye on this and see if it is trying to catch itself and crawl back up. That could be a good opportunity if it is, and that is SAIH and GREE. That one ran up on Friday. We were looking at it. It opened that. Let me look at it online. I'll get better prices here. It opened at 364, ran up to 434. Its low is 256, and it's at 267. So that one's probably going to be pulling back. But a good thing is it could be setting up too. So we'll have to see how that opens because it just ran up and came pulling back there. So I'll have to see it, but it is setting up pretty bullish. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. GREE. And let's look at that AZI. That was down 14 cents, and we were looking at it. I said it was in the top. Maybe it'll try to curl back up. It's pulling back. I think it's going to come down to this line and possibly pull back into like the 150 area, maybe a little lower, and then try to curl back up. So AZI, I think you can get a better price on this, and we'll just watch for it to try to roll off that MACD. Maybe it gets down tomorrow. Yesterday, like I said, Friday came down to 145, and it's at like 176 right now, and that's at AZI. And a couple people had asked about that bad boy. And like I was saying the other day, I don't see anything crazy about it, but maybe it wants to roll up if it gets crazy volume. It only had 2 million and it's pulling back there. So it never really jumped out at me like it was anything crazy. So I was just looking at it to see if I was missing something, but again, it could definitely set up now after that dip. AISP, that Airship AI Holdings, another one we looked at, got up into the top, and I think this is going to be pulling back AISP. So look for it. It's going to pull back a little bit. It came out of the top, and you'll probably get back down into the 240s. I'm guessing it did go up in the after hours. Maybe it wants to try to that maybe that was a little dip and rip. I'll have to look at this as well. After the weekend, some of these are a tough ones, especially if they pull back like that. So I can take a look at AISP in the morning and take a better look. UNFK, I don't even know what I wrote there. I don't think that's what I tried to write. I don't even know what that is. Maybe if someone knows, just let me know. Um, why do I think it's like an O or something? I don't even know what it is. Anyway, I'll look and see. KOLD, I have no idea what I wrote for that. Cold though was going down. We were looking at this last week because we were looking at boil and cold, and this one kind of just pulled back, and it looks like it's going to be cold right now. So that does look like it's going to be cold for a little bit, and boil, BOIL, if I could type it in, BOIL. That was up $1.36, and this is about to pop off. It recently split, and it's getting ready to move. So if you want to take a look at one, it's an ETF for natural gas, and it looks really good. And that's Boyle, and that looks really good right there. So take a look at that, BOIL, because that one wants to get rolling. It's at $40 right now. The 50's at like 45, and it has some resistance at 60. So BOIL, you should get cruising, and that's the natural gas one. And KOLD looks like it's going to be pulling back and be a little cold. So there you go with them. And Hut, this one just keeps running up as well. It looks like a good momentum play for tomorrow. It's at 25.36. And this is like a crypto kind of has some crypto in it or something. They do something with crypto, and it built a base up here at the 25s, and it's going to keep on cruising, guys. So it's in the top. It looks like a nice momentum play in the morning. So keep an eye on HUT. And how about BITI? That's it. BITI. That's that short Bitcoin ETF. And this looks like it's going to stay in the basement there. It was trying to set up, and it did just split too on the 7th. And it is an ETF, and we've been looking at the BITO. Let me add this to there, BITI. Um, but yeah, this one looks like it's can continue to pull back there in the basement. So we'll have to take a look at that, and I'm gonna keep an eye on that as well as BITO. Might as well look at it real quick. And yeah, this looks like it's running in the top and going higher. So BITO looks like it's going to continue to move up, and Bitcoin is crazy, and so is crypto right now. So there you go with that one. That's BITO and BITI. So we keep an eye on them. And let's take a look at, let's see what GDXD is doing. GDXD. That is another that's an ETN. It's micro sectors gold miners, three times inverse leveraged ETN. And this looks like it wants to run up in the top, catch some momentum, and pop up there pretty good. So I want to watch this bad boy tomorrow. GDXD. Keep an eye on that. It looks like it wants to go back up again. It looks like a momentum play because it's right there in the top and looks like it wants to get in there and run some more. So I would take a look at that one. RGF, that Real Good Foods, I believe. Real Good Food Company. Yeah, down a penny. Oh, this one was set up perfectly. And I think Friday could have been your dip and rip. I'm telling you, they could be popping tomorrow. I mean, they look like this one looks like it wants to be a dip and rip as well. RGF, I would take a look at for that bounce on that bad boy tomorrow morning. So watch for that bounce because that looks like it wants to. ADGM, that ran up on Thursday. Little pullback there on Friday, ADGM, let me see. Let me take a better look. I mean, it was great setup there, pull back. I'll have to look at that one, but yeah, that's what you look for right there. Pulled back right there and popped off. So, I mean, that was textbook, and it could be pulling back again. I'd have to look at that one tomorrow just because it ran up, pulled back on a Friday over the weekend. Just a hard one to tell. Applied APLD. I remember I was telling you I traded this one way before and a couple years ago, and this one's going to get rocking and rolling. I think I'm going to be watching that one tomorrow. APLD. You might want to keep an eye on that one as well because that one's looking really good. APLD setting up, and I know they have some crypto stuff. And Nvidia discloses stake in Applied Digital, keeps arms and SoundHound stakes. So, yeah, there you go. You could tell something good was happening there, and there you go. Nvidia had some stake in it, so they're eating steak in Applied Digital Corp, and again, this one can get moving, and it looks like it's about to. So I would keep an eye on options or whatever you want to do on that, but I would keep an eye on something on that. SD, what did I write? SDRC, maybe that's a oh yeah, Sydney Resources. It must be like an OTC or something. So let me just take a look. It looks like it's pulling back there. Could be just trying to bounce up. I'd have to take a look at this though. SDRC, not giving me great look, and I'm looking just on the one chart, and I can't really tell a whole lot there. So I can look at that again to get a better idea. Let me do this real quick and pop up the stock charts. And what was it? SDRC. And let me just see. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to pull back there. It might try to roll off. I can take a better look at it tomorrow, get a better idea. That WTO was trying to set up last week, and it did run the one day. I do remember on the 11th, Monday, it ran and then it pulled back the rest of the week down there. And this is a China one, and I'm telling you, this thing could get crazy too. WTO. Let me just take a look at this. WTO. Oh, WTO. There we go. And just a little flat right there. Not telling me it wants to go crazy yet, but I think this one's gonna get a little get a nice pop going. So I'll look at it tomorrow, see what WTO wants to get into, and I'll let you guys know. We'll look at that EJH as well. And that's another China one. And this one was just pulling back as well. Ran up the other day. A little healthy pullback. EJH. Oh, EJH. And yeah, I think this one's going to do the same. I think this one has potential to get set up and moving. And WTO, I'll look at it, but I think that has potential too. So I think both of them. And like I said, I think the China penny stocks might be setting up to get cruising. ACHR, that aviation company, aerospace and defense, that one ran way up there and it's pulling back. It did run up to like 486 the other day. And I think you're going to have a little pullback on that. ACHR. Oh, ACHR. Looks like you're going to get a little pullback there. So I'll keep an eye on that. We saw that before too because of the aerospace and defense. CTCX Carmel Corp. Remember we were looking at this bad boy and then it popped up there and it was back in the middle of October. And this bad boy's took a nice dip on November 4th down to like 20 cents. It's at 24 right now. It took a nice dip on Friday as well as it was trying to cross through. I think CTCX tries to get set up and moving, guys. So keep your eye on it. Might not be tomorrow, but it is getting set up right there. So I will keep an eye on that. CTCX. And we did look at that before. MASS 908 devices up a penny. Oh yeah, that one's gonna get cruising. That Thursday, the 14th, was its bottom at 219. Then it has a weird look yesterday. Had some earnings going on the 12th, which was Tuesday, and Mass. Yeah, I think this is going to get cruising, guys. Keep your eye on that bad boy. I think you're going to have a little bounce play. So that's setting up right there, MASS. And let's look at that AGRI. I believe it's Agri-Force Growing Systems. And it did pull back a little bit. And again, a lot of them did on Friday. And it's coming back down to touch that bottom right there. Let me take a better look here, AGRI. And you could have a nice bouncer here. It did bounce up the other day on the 13th, which was what, Wednesday, and it ran pretty nice. I remember it did go, where'd it go? 5 to 9 cents. It's at 4 right now, and you could have another good bounce happening. So we'll keep an eye on that AGRI and see if that can have a bounce. And AEHL, let's look at that bad boy. AEHL. Antelope Enterprises, I remember looking at this and it's setting up to crawl up and get moving. So I'd keep an eye on that. The 20s right there at 34. We're at 30. And AEHL is looking pretty good, I must say. So I'd keep an eye on this guy and see what it wants to do. It looks like it wants to get moving in the morning, is what it looks like to me. AEHL. So keep a look at that. Keep an eye on that because it looks good. MRNS. Let's look at that one. MRNS. We looked at this before. Marinus Pharmaceuticals or something. It crossed through. Still in the basement. Had some earnings back there on the 12th, which was Tuesday of last week. 20s coming down. That's all the way up at like 50 something cents. Let me get a better look. MRNS. It curled through just flat. It's not showing me that it wants to pop yet, but it could be getting set up. I'd have to take a look at that tomorrow. And CLEU, Clue. Let's take a look at that bad boy and see what you're doing here because it came down to that bottom right there. And that one looks like a dip and rip situation on Friday. Its low is 20 cents. It's at 21 in the after hours. Let me see. CLEU. I know we were looking at it last week and it was trying to set up right there on the 12th, which was last Tuesday. And then it ran up on Wednesday, the 20, it opened up at 24, came down to 21, then pulled back Thursday and Friday. And I think you get set up here, and this is another China one that's a pretty much a penny stock down here. So keeping our eyes on them bad boys, that's for sure, because you know that they can get cruising. And let's go ahead and look at our laptop travel list. And then we'll go ahead. I'll see what you guys want to see. We'll look at some crypto, our big caps, and we'll wrap it up. We'll try to cruise right through tonight and get ready for this week because I think it's going to be a wild one. And remember, back in the summer, I was saying right around Thanksgiving, it would be getting wild. And by the New Year and Christmas, it would be real crazy. And it looks like we're getting there. So here we go, and then we'll have to reevaluate what's going to happen after that because after you get a big pop off like that, you have to see if you have some nice pullback, which we obviously could because they come in and start cutting all this stuff. You're going to see the market start to pull back, and it'll be a good thing. I mean, it's not good to see the market pull back, but it'll be a good thing to actually cut the all that waste in government. And then obviously you'll see things, charts pull back, and then they'll get set up and really get cruising. So we'll just have to play the puts, but that's a little bit down the road. And right now things are setting up nice. So here we go. Let's rock and roll AEMD. Let's see what that's up to. You know that these are going to be all great setups right here. And this one's a beauty, guys. AEMD. Just watch this thing roll right off of there and get cruising. AEMD. It had a weird, really weird look on Friday, and it looks like it wants to move, is what it does. I would say keep an eye on that bad boy, AEMD, right off the bat. ARTW, Artsway Manufacturing, and that's rolling up there too. He's looking good. ARTW. So keep an eye on him because that looks like it wants to get cruising. AYRO. Let's look at that one. AYRO. And that one is just getting set up there. It's going to trade probably in between that channel just for a hair, and then it's going to get cruising. So just watch that one get set up. AYRO setting up right there. BAOS. BAOS. I can't even type tonight. BAOS. Here we go. That's a little China company rolling up there and looks like it's going to get popping off at 201. Came down in the after hour. Yeah, in the after hours, down 12 cents. BAOS. If I could type this thing in. Here we go. BAOS. It doesn't look too bad, honestly. It looks like it wants to get cruising. I would say that's setting up to get cruising. CELU. Let's look at that one. I thought that was clue actually, but I just typed that in. CELU. I thought it was the CLEU when I first looked at it, but then I looked it up and saw that it was a different one. And it's called like cellular T or something. I don't even know what the hell it's called. It's a biotech company. And it just ran around like crazy on Friday, 246 to 370, down to 212 at 246. And it looks like it wants to try to crawl back up. It's a pretty wild one right there. So I would look at this to try to get cruising again, and it is setting up. So I would say CELU is looking pretty good there. And let's look at that CNTM. Connect Technology. This one did run up. We were looking at it. The bottom was back here on the 12th, down at 73 cents. You're at 96 right now. And it looks like it wants to continue that momentum right there for CNTM. And that's another one that was on a laptop travel list, as all these are, obviously, and got moving early. We were early on and got moving. So DUO, another one down 5 cents right there. This is another one of them China ones, guys, and it tried to move the other day. I remember we were looking at it, did move on the 7th, and then it pulled back there and it tried to cross through, is what I was thinking. And it did run from like, I don't remember, 127 to 173. And now we're back at 65 cents for DUO. So we looked at it, it got popping, and I think we're getting set up there. So we'll keep an eye on that bad boy for this week. FS FESH. Yeah, hold on. EFSH. Holy cow, my brain. EFSH, 1847 holdings. That was great. Up 4 cents. We were looking at this the other day. It's that curl up, guys. This thing's gonna get cruising. Just look for any pullback there as it's setting up. It's one of them big fish hooks, but it's beautiful. I just want to look at it on mine real quick, see what it did in the after hours, and it's EFSH. And let me take a look. Yeah, it's going to get cruising, whether it's tomorrow or Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know, but it's definitely right there. And it could be that day out pop tomorrow. It recently just split, and it's going to get wild. So EFSH looking really good right there. And that ESLA we were looking at last week, that ran up 5 cents. We knew that was going, and I think you're going to have some momentum on that one still. So keep an eye on that. And what is this one? GORV. I did not look that up actually. Lazy Days Holdings. Holy cow. It's an auto and truck dealership. They call it Lazy Days Holdings. It's a pretty nice name for a company. And let's see what it did on their lazy days because it's curling up. It ran up Thursday from 98 to 196. And then it ran up on Friday 108 to 156. It's at 113. And GORV is looking pretty good right there to continue. So they're going to have some not only lazy days, they're going to have a strong day. So keep that watch on that momentum right there. And let's look at GV and see what that's up to, that Visionary Holdings. And it did pop up the other day. It's just getting set up now. and they're gonna have some visionary holdings soon because it's gonna be moving. So just keep your eye on a little pullback right there as it's setting up. And then, yeah, it's going to get curling up right there on that 20. So just keep your eye on that visionary holdings. IOVA, we'll watch the GV this week. It's going to get set up. IOVA, another one we were watching. It looked like it wanted to run and it just came down the rest of the week. And now it's at a great spot at 818. So yeah, patience definitely pays on a lot of these bad boys because this is going to start setting up down here. And we were looking at it in the 10 and 11 area, and now it's at 818. So that's a beauty right there. We'll look at it to see exactly when it's ready. MSS, that's making a base right there and setting up. This one could be a cruiser tomorrow. MSS. Yeah, I would look for this to start moving tomorrow. Definitely setting up right there, looking good. And I would look at that. How about that NCPL, which is Net Capital? NCPL. That's in a pretty good spot. I think it's going to trade between this channel right here, 175, 165, that little 10-cent gap right there, and then get set up. So could do it for a day or two and then like start to move. So just keep your eye on it because it is setting up right there. NCPL, it just looks like it has a few days. NTIP, we looked at this last week and it is starting to move. It was good Thursday and Friday, and it looks like it should keep that momentum up there tomorrow. Thursday, it ran up 131 to 142. Friday, 135 did come back at 133, but looks a little healthy. I think this one tries to run up a little bit more. NTIP, so keep your eye on that. I don't know if it's going to get blasted off. It's got some resistance right there at 139. Could trade in that channel and then get set up to move. So could have a little bit of setup time and movement on that. PAVM, PavMed. I know we looked at this. They just had their earnings on the 14th, which was Thursday, and it's just curling up there. Look good right there. PAVM. It does look good to try to run tomorrow. I'd keep an eye on that. Does look pretty healthy. I'd say PAVM looks good to try to move. And let's look at Shim, CHIM, Shimmick Corp. This one's setting up. I think it's got a little setup time on it, and then you'll be really good on SHIM. Yeah, it's not showing me that it wants to pop yet tomorrow, but I think you just have a little setup and it's pretty good. Snacks, SNAX. I remember we looked at this before. They just had some earnings on the 13th, which was last Wednesday, and this is getting set up and should move. Let me just confirm that. And yeah, they should have some good snacks tomorrow right there. So keep an eye on snacks, SNAX. I don't know if they're gonna have cheese doodles, cheese curls, or cheese puffs, but one of them's gonna be looking good right there for snacks. Swag SWAG. Let's see what kind of swag they're gonna have. Strand and Company. This is setting up really good. This is gonna just roll right off that MACD and get moving. You can see that SWAG. So maybe not tomorrow, but it is setting up. So keep your eye on both of them, Swag and Snacks and UONE. That's the one I was thinking of earlier when I couldn't spell that other one out and didn't know what it was. This is the one I was actually thinking it could be because it looked like it, but no, it was like UNFK. So I'm not sure. I didn't even look to see. Yeah, I did. It couldn't have been a yeah, it didn't match. Yeah, I'm not sure what the heck that was, but this is the one I kind of thought it was. Urban One, UONE. And this one's getting rolled up there, guys. This one looks really good. UONE. I would say that's moving tomorrow. So watch that bad boy get cruising right there. And VKTX is that Viking Therapeutics still dipping down. Finally, they finally put some resistance there or support line there for resistance. Yeah, it didn't have any resistance. Um, it just kept pushing it down. But it finally has a support line, so watch for it now to finally bounce. It's down to 49. We were looking at it at 68, and now it's at 49. VKTX. That's a nice dip right there. And now I think you're going to see it get set up this week. So keep an eye on that. And XTLB, let's see what that's up to. XTLB up 3 cents. And that one appears to be trying to roll up there. XTLB. I'll look at that tomorrow, but it appears that it's trying to roll off there and get moving tomorrow. So I'll take a look at that. And yeah, you have some really good ones on that list. AEMD, ARTW, CNTM, look for that momentum play, EFSH, ESLA, and that GORV looking good for momentum. PAVM and snacks and swag and UONE. So some great ones right there, and some other great ones at TANH. GDH GDHG is looking really good. Buru, BURU, the TWG setting up. What else was looking good? CERO for momentum, LQR and zone for momentum plays right there. That AEHL was looking good. And Octo is looking good for a little bounce. Alex is looking good to run. So a ton of them just looking great. Let's roll through our crypto real quick, see what it looks like here. I'll do something different. I'll pull them up BTC, USD, coin. And then once I do that, I can get them now. I remembered how to get to them and look at them on my chart. So I'll just pull them up on here. I do like the app charts, but I can look at them on here as well, obviously. So we'll just cruise right through, and the app doesn't have them all anyway. So Bitcoin looks like it wants to roll off. Look like it made that base at 90,000. That's where it's at, 90,411, and it looks pretty damn good, I must say. And let's look at Ethereum, ETH, USD coin right there. Whoop. It was right there. Boom. And Ethereum's at 3,103. And like I said, it looks like it's just going to roll off and fly back up, guys. It looks really good. So yeah, crypto looks great. Solana, Sol, USD. And there we are for Sol, SOL. And this one's up at 239 right now. And I told you guys before, way back when, it's my biggest position. So you know it's a good weekend. It's always a great weekend. It's always a great day. And yeah, crypto's been cruising, guys. And you know I trade it pretty heavily and I'm in it pretty big. So it's getting really great, and so is the market, and we are just gonna just starting some great fun. I'm telling you right now, it is gonna get amazing. So there you go, it's Solana, and it looks like it's gonna continue up and keep running up, and it's at 238, but we'll see when it gets up to that 250 area and see again. It's like almost off the chart, so we'll have to see when it starts moving up to there and what it wants to do. Ripple XRP, this thing's just been an animal too. Well, let me see. Let me get it on the right one here on Coinbase. Here we go. And I mean, I guess all the charts are basically the same, but Ripple's at 112. The other day it ran up to 130. It was nutty on Friday night, and it looks like it wants to run back up and go past it right now. So Ripple looks like it wants to continue to rip. How about Bonk? We can look at that, or we'll look at Cardano first, ADA USD coin. And there we are, Cardano. And this one's at 73 and curling back up. The run made a base right there, made a base at the 58. Now it's making a base here. They're just running up. I mean, it's just crazy. You're going to see it happen. And then they're going to even get crazier there. Good old Doge. Let's look at that one right here. USD coin right there. I see it. Boom. And I wish I could. I gotta figure out if I could save them. I'm sure I can make a. Yeah, I'll look at that. Actually, that would be a great idea. I'm pretty sure I can just make list or something, and then just save all these bad boys and not have to type them in and just go to that list and knock them out. So I'll have to look at that. But Doge anyway is still up at 36, 37 cents. It pulled back down to that 33 cent area. It's probably a good dip the other day because it looks like it's way up there, but I could see it curling up and or rolling off and going back up some more. So we'll keep an eye on Doge, see what it wants to do in the morning there. And that is good old Doge. And then good old Sheeb, SHIB. Here we go. Let's look at Sheeb real quick. And that is at, well, it's at like the pennies, but it's another one just making a nice base. I think they're gonna roll off, and this thing's gonna get wild too right here. So Sheeb, it just ran up, and it looks like it wants to run up a little bit more there. And how about Bonk? I mean, this thing just went absolutely bonkers, and just has been running up there and it just went nutty. I'm telling you, it went crazy from the other day. From the fifth to now, it went nuts. So bonk, and it's still running up there. So I'm not sure if it wants to pull back, but it absolutely went bonkers, and I've been saying it wanted to, and it did. And how about that WIF? Is that even? Yeah, it's on Coinbase. I was like, wait, I never looked. But here we are, WIF. This one doesn't give me much on a chart. I might have to look at that one on my it's a bit down at 358. I don't know why it don't show me too much on there. But let me just look real quick on my on the app real quick and just see WIF because it does pop up pretty easy. It's at wow, it pulled back to like 350s. Um I'm sure Laptop Travel's wife is not happy about that one, but it's just making a base down here, guys. So I think it's going to get back into the fours again with no problem. And let's see what else we're looking at here. Pepe, let's look at that one on mine. PEPE, um, USD. It's not, did they put it on Coinbase? Oh, yeah, maybe they did. I didn't even know they did that. I think they just put it on Coinbase actually. So, um, let me just look at the Pepe one. That's up like 5%, and that is gonna that's a weird chart, honestly. It's way down and no, it's way up in the 70. I have to pull up a different chart. Hold on, let me find one real quick for this. Let me look at crypto.com and see. Yeah, because that one's been on there way longer. And I get they just put it on, I guess they just put it on Coinbase. I thought they added it to like Robinhood or something. I don't know. But anyway, here we are. Pepe, it's way up. It ran way up. It's making a base and probably going to crawl back up even higher. So another one. I mean, they're just insane right now, guys. This crypto is just getting started. DOT, let's see that one. That's that polka dot. We went through it a little bit ago, and like I said, it looks like it wants to crawl back up and run up some more, and that's at DOT. And let's look at Litecoin, LTC, USD. And on Coinbase, we'll look at their chart, and that thing's ripping up. It ran up the other day to like 98. It's back to 90, and it's getting ready to run some more, it looks like. So I'm telling you, these things are just absolutely going nutty, and it's just beginning. So get used to it. H bar. I know this one pretty well. USD, Coinbase, H bar. I've traded this one, and this one just ran up big time. It's up at back up at 10 cents, and I know it was down to like 4 cents. It was way down there not long ago, and it just started running up. So see how much more this can run up. It looks like it wants to continue to run up there. So that's HBAR. And my buddy T likes that one, and he also likes Chainlink, LINK USD. And there's that one right there. And this one's getting rolling up, guys. It's at 14.24, and you're about to see this get moving. So this one was in the 20s back in March. I remember trading this guy, and it's probably going to run back up pretty nice. So there's LINK, good old chain link. And let's look at that Brett. BRUT USD. I'm not sure if it is on Coinbase yet. I think they're trying to put it on there, but let me just pull up one that it's on, that I'm familiar with anyway. Qcoin. Let's look at that one and see what it says. Yeah, we can look at that one. Brett, I noticed one ran way up. It's at 16 cents. I remember I saw it down here at like 8 cents down in the beginning of November, and then it just got cruising there. Another one looks like it's trying to make that base. It ran up the other day to that 19 cents, almost 20, and it looks like it wants to get moving some more. So I'm not exactly sure what's up with Brett or what that coin's about, but it is moving, and it's a pretty good one right there. And I think they're going to try to put it on Coinbase possibly. I'm not exactly sure, but there you go. There's our crypto right there. And let's just take a look at our big caps and all them, and then I'll go through our messages and see what you guys want to look at. And we'll wrap it up for our Sunday night. Get ready for our pre-market tomorrow and crush this market again this week. So here we go. And there's a Sunday night football game on. The Chargers and the Bengals. I'm not even sure what the score is, but anyway, let's get cruising here and look at the SPY, see what it did. It was down 760 and it popped down to that 20. Remember, I was saying that I thought it wanted to come back down to that like 580 something, 584 or 583. Well, it came down to five. I was saying 584. It came down to 583. It's at 585. And now they made some beautiful room. It's on the 20. And yeah, the Chargers and the Bengals, it's 27-6 in the third quarter with 10 minutes left. So but anyway, the SPY did come back down, and I think you're going to see it roll right back off this week, and it's going to get wild. So let's take a look and see what's going on with GameStop. It did come down; it was in the top, and it wanted to run up, and it could very well possible get right back up in there and try to move again. So we'll look and see tomorrow morning what it looks like and see how that opens. AMC was down 9 cents, but I'm telling you, this thing is going to get cruising, guys. It's setting up. It's in the fours, and you're going to see it past the sixes and real soon. So just mark my words. 451. You're going to see it at $6 in a matter of no time right there. So whatever they're up to, I don't know. It's just pulling back right there. Look for a good price because it looks really good. It could come down to that 440, but like I said, it's looking really good. Something's going on with it. I don't know what the heck's going on, but something's happening with AMC and Chewy, CHWY. This one was in the top. It did pull back, so now it's pulling back here. See if it can come back down into the 29 area. It's at 31. And again, this thing's going to get set back up and run. Nvidia, they have their earnings this week. It was down, hitting that support line right there. And I think you might have it pull back a little bit more and then it's getting set up. I don't know. Maybe it bounces back up tomorrow. It's hard to tell. So let me see what it did in the after hours. And again, they have their earnings this week. I wouldn't mess with it. Looks like it's going to pull back to me. So we'll keep an eye on the video in the morning. We'll see it in the morning. And how about good old Apple AAPL? And this one was down 322. And again, it's just setting up right there. See if it wants to pull back underneath that support line, but I don't know if it does. I think it wants to start getting cruising. It tried to on Thursday, and then the market just pulled it back on Friday. And I think Apple wants to get rolling, guys. So keep your eye on Apple. Google, I'm telling you, this came down exactly where we were talking to the 20 at 173. Remember, it was sitting up there. And this bad boy, it probably is going to try to cross through coming down. If it doesn't, it's going to roll off. But I think you're going to get a quick cross through coming down, make some room, and then that's going to pop up and be super bullish. So we just have some beautiful setups here, and they are going to get rocking and rolling. Amazon down $8, and I'm telling you right down here, look at it for 197. See if it pulls back, and it's going to be a beauty. So this is a gorgeous one. It actually made a resistance line up there. It wasn't there. The chart kind of changed around a little bit, and it's actually perfect. So this one's going to set up. Just watch for a little pullback, and it's going to be money. And Meta came down, and another one. Let it pull back to that 530 area. It's it pays to be patient because this thing's setting up, and I'm telling you, we can get all these bad boys at the bottom prices and ride them up on options, and they will be gorgeous. You pick the ETFs, and then you get two times, three times, it's even better. So that's Meta. And how about Tesla, TSLA? And this one was up 954, down a little in the after hours, and looks like it wants to keep on running. So we'll have to see what Tesla wants to do in the morning, but it looks pretty solid to keep running up there. And that's our Mag 7. How about Nike, NKE? That's up 98. Yeah, almost $1.76. Remember, I was saying it's going to go from the 75 again back up into the 80s. You're going to watch it do it. We watched it do it once, and we're going to see it do it again. And how about Rivian? That was setting up right there, and it pulled back. It ran up on the other day on what, the 13th on Wednesday, and then it dipped pretty good the last 2 days. But again, this one's setting up to be super bullish Rivian. So that one, watch these dip and get the rips because the dips are great. PLTR just keeps running up, guys. It's just an animal. So again, if it's running up, catch a quick momentum play on it. And just be careful because it's been in the top forever. So PLTR is crazy. Sophie, SOFI. This one, another one in the top, rolling up. You'll probably catch a momentum play there tomorrow as well for both of them, PLTR and Sophie, because they both are looking pretty good to run up there. Um, how about Dell, DELL? That's down a little bit. Let it pull back into this 128 area, and maybe it'll cross through, come down, and make a little more room. And then that one's setting up to be bullish. So they all look good. They just need some pullback, and they all ran up like crazy on the election news. Snow, that one has earnings, I think, this week. Yeah, on the 20th. So on Wednesday, they have earnings, and that one ran up perfectly. Now it's pulling back. I'm going to find that bottom right around 119, let it do its earnings, and then let it pop off. So that'll be Snow, and I'll hit that one again. You know, I did that last week and sold that one almost perfectly. That was a beauty. I'm telling you, these options are great. They have the expiration, they force you to sell it, and you lock them in like crazy percentages. So AMD, I think that's hitting the bottom and gonna get cruising again. So look for AMD to start bouncing back up, and I'm gonna watch for that to try to be its bottom right there. AMD, QCOM down 347. Let it pull back a little bit more down here to 155, and then it will be bouncing back up. So another one gonna set up and be great. Maybe it's so hard to tell how this market's gonna open tomorrow, to be honest with you. They look like they want to pull back, they look like they want to go up. They don't know what the hell they want to do. They just want to all run like crazy. PayPal back up to over 85, and that one looks like it wants to be a momentum play tomorrow. So keep your eye on PayPal in the morning, PYPL. And here we go, SMCI. It was up, and apparently it's up in the Web Bull world and somewhere else. I'm not exactly sure, but or Robinhood or something. But I'm telling you, the thing is curled up. It wants to get moving, guys, and it has some resistance right there at that 22. But it looks really good, and I said it last week. I said I could not imagine them not getting a plan or something together and having good news. So I know I bought options, and I was betting on it going up. So I'm excited if it's really flying. And Laptop Travel asked me, and I said I am getting options on it. I promise you, and I did, and I think it's gonna be cruising. So SMCI, I think you're gonna have a winner right there. And let's take a look at INTC. Good old Intel down 68, and another one. Let it pull back a little to 23, maybe 22, and then it's going to set up. So, and these could do it pretty fast as well. Like in the next 2 days, they could dip down and be set up for like the end of the week or midweek. So, Obviously, we'll be running through everything. How about Disney? Did I not say it was going from what, 90 to over 100 or 93? I remember 93. I said it was going over 100. It's at 115. So there you go. And it looks like it might stay in the top, but be careful. I mean, we smashed that one perfectly. Oxy OXY. This one's setting up really good, guys. Just let it set up, and then that's going to be great. OXY and Exxon Mobil, the same thing. This one's setting up really good too. So both of them are looking good to set up right there. And Mara, MARA, this thing's going to get wild again. It's about to roll back up, curl back up, and go. Same thing with Riot. That was back up, and they just had to come out of the top, and then they're going to keep going up. So there you go with Riot and Mara and MSTR. Good old micro strategy. He's staying up in the top. Sayer, he keeps crushing everything, just buying Bitcoin. So that's going up. That should be a momentum play. CLSK, Clean Spark. This looks like it bottomed out Friday and wants to roll back up there. So watch that one, the cruise. And good old coin was flying up like $27. This one wants to get back in the top and get flying back up there again. So that's COIN, and that one's going to be moving. I might have to look at that CONL again, and that's the ETF for that bad boy. And DJT, this one's starting to move back up, and like I was saying, just let it pull back. I even said maybe it'll come down to the 25. It's at 28. I think you might have your bottom right there, at 26 area, and I think you could get cruising pretty soon with DJT. So we'll keep an eye on that and see when it's ready. And good old fun, PHUN, down 47 cents. Just let it pull back. Same situation. And we'll know when that bottom is. Mountain Vale Resorts was down $2, but let it pull back, or we knew it ran up. It hit the resistance, and this thing's gonna set up right around 174. It's at 176, and it's gonna get booming again. And that's Val Resorts for MTN. And let's see, McDonald's, MCD down. Oh, that's the most perfect dip and rip situation ever. I'm watching that thing to hit that bottom. Hopefully, it dips a little more tomorrow. I was just waiting for it to be perfect, and that's perfect. Probably tomorrow is going to be perfect, and there we go. I think we're going to see some like a little more dippage tomorrow, and great price. I love these red days are perfect when they're down. That's when you want to buy them because they pop right back up easily, and it's easy money. You don't want to buy them while they're running up because then they're going to pull back, and then you're not an easy money. So just take advantage of the red days. I tried to. MCD, so yeah, watch that bad boy try to pull back and it would be great. Boeing was up $2. It is hitting that resistance down there or support line, I mean. And maybe it is trying to bounce. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it tries to pull back a little more. I'll look at it in the morning, see what it wants to do. And then space is getting set up, guys. SPCE. So keep an eye on that because it's getting set up there. And that DXYZ is just insane too. This thing just keeps on running. So keep an eye on it because it looks like it wants to run back up at the top and it just pulled back and now it made more room at 32. So keep an eye on that. And LDOS, this thing had that beautiful dip and another one the Friday down to 156. It was just all the way up at 190 something. So this is a beauty. I want to watch this hit that bottom because that thing has just gone continuously going up and we just found it at the perfect time and I'm going to be watching that LDOS. And let's look at that. And we looked at it BITO and BITI. So let me see what you guys want to see and then we'll cut out on a Sunday evening. And boom, TSLA is up 5% in overnight trading. There we go. Thank you, Laptop Travel. And Apple is down just a hair. Google is down. Microsoft, Nvidia, Meta, and yeah, the only one up is looks like Tesla at the moment. We'll see how that plays out. SMCX. Which one's that? SMCX. That's the Defiance Daily Target, 2 times long SMCI ETF. There we go. That's what we're looking at. Beautiful call there, Luis Rodriguez. And Yeah, looks like it's curling up really nice right there. SMCX. I'm gonna keep an eye on that tomorrow. Probably looking at them option calls. It's all the way down at what, 98 cents. So it jumped up 31 cents in the after hours. And yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at SMCX and see what that bad boy, because it looks great on my chart. I mean, it looks so good. So thank you, Luis Rodriguez. Appreciate that one right there. And SMCI's trading shows it's going to run. Shorts beware if SMCI is able to comply or get an extension on its compliance deadline. I'd be watching for these upside prices levels 28 to 30, 35, possibly 45 to 55. I agree, laptop travel. I mean, it's going to move. And Brett, his wife, Laptop Travel's wife, got into this anticipating it being added to Coinbase, and then it'll run hard. I can't disagree with that. Like I said, I remember when it came out, I guess, or maybe it didn't just come out. Maybe it did back in March, but it did get pumped up. It was down under a penny and it ran up fast. So I do remember that. And Pepe did just get added, so that's a beautiful thing to Coinbase. Thank you. And then that wife the WIF got added to Coinbase Thursday as well, so that's a good one. And there we go with that one. And let's just see what else we have here. Let me see. That's just some people talking. Doge consolidating right there. I would say that's a good consolidation. It's a beautiful one, to be honest with you. And I think we pretty much got everything. I think. Let me see. GDXD and Yang Nober. I did do them, but I'll do them again real quick for you. Hold on. GDXD. I forget what we said. GDXD. Oh, that's that gold miners. That one looks like it wants to run up in the top tomorrow and be a momentum play. I remember that one. Actually, I wanted to write that one down. GDXD. I'm glad you said that. That's a good one too. That was that inverse ETN right there, and the Yang. I honestly, it could pull back a little tomorrow, but I think it's going to get cruising back up to that 90s, what I think on the Yang. So there you go with them bad boys. And let me just see what's over on the stock twits real quick, see if anything's happening over there real quick here. Let me take a look. Hold on. Did I? Yeah, I did an NMHI because that one was in the beginning. It looked good. Um, I think TANH is looking really good for this tomorrow, and that zone should have a little jump up. Boom, boom, boom. Think we got everything there as well. Let me just see what's trending. It's a lot of crypto, as a matter of fact. H bar, Ripple, Nvidia. Bad is a crypto. UVXY is a ETF. The XLM is a coin. VARA is a coin. CSPR, I'm not familiar with that one, but it's up over 100%. QNTX and WMT, which is Walmart. Let's see what they're up to. And that is setting up super bull. I'm telling you, watch for these pullbacks right here. Their earnings are Tuesday. Watch for these dips. And I'm telling you, we're going to crush this market. So that's going to be a beauty too. I can't wait for that. So there you go. I would say that's a good Sunday night show right there. And I greatly appreciate everybody hanging out. That's for sure. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Thank you, Laptop Travel, STX Confidential, RD, Luis Rodriguez, and Jennifer Lee, Sherry, Bong Prichan, JC Krat, J Kratz, DTN, the Pink Wolf. I was going to say Fox, Pink Wolf. Uh, and then deleted every time you post a message. I love it because I'm like, is that deleted? It messes with my brain. It's hilarious. I always get a good laugh. And Lynn and Jason and Sean, everybody, have a great evening. Get some rest. And you know where we'll be at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll be running through the pre market. So tune on in. We'll see what we're looking at. And we'll crush this market no matter which way it's going. And crypto, again, has been nutty. And we just get there early before everything, before it pops. And we're riding them all up. So let's continue doing it. So there you go. Have a great night. And again, all information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. Have a great night, everybody. And I will see you guys at 7 a.m. See you in the morning.